Shalom, good afternoon, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm very happy to be here with you today and to speak about the difference or the relations between a solar year and a lunar year, and how those 2 years are meeting in the Day of Atonement or Yom Kippur, and there's a creation or the notion of springy time or flexible time or non-time. Let's open the conversation. A lunar year, Shnat Levana, and I will speak in those terms very slowly today. Hello Abigail, Shabbat Shalom everyone. I will speak slowly about those terms because at the moment there is no whiteboard, there is no server, and we don't have the whiteboard at hand, so we shall open those concepts very slowly. You could write or take notes if you wish, and if you don't, just hear it. So there is a term known as Shnat Levana. This is a lunar year which has 12 months or 12 moons. We have 12 births of new moons. This is Shnat Levana, lunar year. This year consists of 355 days. On the other hand, there's another concept called Shnat Chama. A solar year. A solar year. A solar year consists of 365 days. The difference between the solar year and the lunar year is of 10 days. Yes, we do 365 minus 355. This is a lunar year, and there's a gap of 10 days. Remember those two concepts or those two kinds of counting. Those are two different systems. Now, when we open the Hebrew calendar, usually, and now we shall move, remember those two systems. There is a term known as Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year or the beginning of the year. Usually this is happening in the autumn. And Rosh Hashanah is being celebrated in the birth of a new moon, in the 7th moon from spring, when there's no moon, because whenever there's a birth of a moon or a new month, it starts with darkness. Between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, there are 10 days. Yes? Rosh Hashanah is being celebrated in 1st of 2nd of Tishrei, 1st and 2nd, Aleph, Bet, and Tishrei, and on the 10th day of Tishrei, or in the evening of the 9th, there is a celebration, hello, Shabbat Shalom, of Day of Atonement. Those two, yes, hello, thank you. So there is a gap or a space of 10 days between Rosh Hashanah, the birth of the new year, and the Day of Atonement. Those days are being called in Hebrew Ben Keseh Le'asor. Keseh, this is the coverage of the moon. The coverage of the moon, it means that there's darkness. We see no moon at the beginning of the new month. Ben Keseh. Keseh is coverage. Yes. Asor is the tense. Asor from Eser, 10. So is the 10th regarding to Yom Kippur, which is celebrated in the 10th of the month. So there are very special days, the 10 days, from many kinds of reasons. But let's start from the most or from the less familiar perspective. The less familiar perspective that speaks about the relations between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. You shall not find those things, I believe, in a very common literature or writings about those two concepts. If we take a regular Rosh Hashanah as a starting point, which is the first of Tishrei, Aleph Tishrei. Aleph Tishrei, this is the beginning of Tishrei. And we shall count 355 days. We shall arrive to the next year. From Rosh Hashanah, the Hebrew calendar, to Rosh Hashanah, there are 355 days. There are 12 moons. There are 12 births of appearance. There are appearances of 12 moons. And this is what, in a way, constitute for us 1 year. 1 lunar year. But please pay attention. We said that from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah, there are 355 days. This is for the lunar year. But in the beginning of the conversation, we mentioned there's another perspective, which is a solar year, which consists of 365 days. And there's a gap of 10. And now this is the interesting connection between them. We are counting lunar year from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah, 355 days. But on the same system, we are addressing another system, which is a solar year. So how do we count now? We start at Rosh Hashanah, Aleph Tishrei somewhere. We count 355 days. We have another Rosh Hashanah. One second, in Hebrew, another Rosh Hashanah. And then we add the 10 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, plus the 10 days, and we arrive, so we have in total 365 days, which are being celebrated in Yom Kippur or in the Day of Atonement. So, and this is quite interesting. At the moment I cannot draw because we don't have a whiteboard, but try to imagine. The lunar year is like a salami year. We can slice the year like we slice a salami. Every 12 moons, there's another slice of bread, another slice of time. 355 days from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah. And then we have slices like bread. Every year is a slice of bread. And in this way, the time is what? Countable and separatable, because we have 1 year beginning, and there's a start, another year and beginning, like a slice of bread. We can say this is slice A, this is slice B, this is slice C, and so forth. This is a very separable counting of time, which separates everything. Now, and here is the very, I would say, unregular perspective. There is a system that connects everything. And this is the solar year, but in the counting between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, how does it go? We start at Rosh Hashanah, Aleph Tishrei. We count 355 days. We complete a lunar year, so to speak, separatable time, because there's a blessing about when the year is over. There's a saying, Tichle shana v'kileloteha, that the year will end and its curse, and a new year will come with its blessings. So there is a sense of end and beginning, and end of the beginning. In a way, this is a linear thinking, though we mention slices of time, but those are separable years. What is a non-separable counting or looking at the things is the following way. We start at Rosh Hashanah, count 355 days, arrive to the next Rosh Hashanah, and we don't stop counting 355. We don't stop. We continue to count 10 more days. Yeah, I will speak about that. So we count from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah 355 days, and we don't stop. We don't say this is the end. We don't. We continue to count 10 more days until the Day of Atonement, and we gain 365 days. So in this way, there is not or no separable times, because the time is a spiral. Again, from Rosh Hashanah, try to make this drawing in your mind, or take even a page and a pen and try to do it. It just, you start to make a circle, but you don't end when you start the beginning of the circle. You go and you make a spring. Yes, you continue to the next, to Day of Atonement, 10 days more, and then you create another one. And in this way, there is integration of the lunar year and the solar year. In this way, the time is not separable. I repeat, the time is not separable. It's like a spring. It's very flexible. Sometimes the spring has little space, and sometimes we can stretch it like an accordion and there's more space. Yes, it's a not rigid way to look at time. On the contrary, yes, Fibonacci, yes, it's like Fibonacci. Yes, this, very good. This is like Fibonacci spirals. Yes, this is an integrate way to include the lunar and the solar system, the lunar year and the solar year together. In the writings, they call it lunar year. Yes, Parzuf David, the portion of David. Yes, Luna, David, and the portion of Joseph, this is the solar year. Yes? So the solar is, or 365 is associated with Joseph, and 355, the lunar, is associated with David. Those, in a way, two different systems, but they collide together in the Day of Atonement. So far, this is understood, the relation to time. Do you have any questions regarding relation to time? Is it the first time you hear about the connection between a lunar year and a solar year? Is it the first time that you hear about the relation of time as a spring? It can be very short or it can expand. Is it the first time you hear? Yes. Yes. Yes, both are very good, very good. Both are Messiah. Yes. Shnei Mashiachim, very good. Mashiach ben David, very good. Mashiach ben David, yes, and Mashiach ben Yosef, very good, very good. There is a beautiful article, a few articles in the Zohar, Moshe, Moses, and two Messiahs, yes, ben David and ben Yosef. By the way, Day of Atonement is the day in which Moses came down from the mountain with two boards of tablet that he wrote after the golden calf, because he had to write a second version of the Torah. Yes. Yeah. This is the perspective that people have. Yes, one is enough, that's for sure. Yes, one is eternal and another one is temporal. And now everything will be switched. Yes, there is Mashiach ben David, this is the eternal, and ben Yosef, this is the temporal. But now everything is oppositing itself. Yes. There is external and inner. The inner is ben David, or David, yes, David, and the external is Joseph. Yes, Shlomo Bachar. Time is an unknown concept, although everyone feels it. Yes, this is just a phenomenon. Those are two chords, yes, that created the nomenon, the source. Yes. עלה ברצונו הפשוט, like Luria says, עלה ברצונו הפשוט. To create, yes, להציל, לברוא, and all of those words in Hebrew. And then in order to create a space and time, yes, there is, in a way, the infinite restricts itself to create a space and time for us. Without the notion of space and time, we could not be here. We just appearance. All of us, humans, trees, butterflies, birds, we're just appearing here. Appearing and disappearing. There's a birth, there's appearance. Death, what we call death, is disappearance. Yes? Appearance. Time, according to the Bible, is appearance. When Abraham, just an example, when Abraham is 100 years old, this is time, yes? He makes the circumcision when he's 99. When he's 100, the next year to follow, Isaac is being born. So what is time? Appearance. Yes. Like in geometry. Yes, I'll move the here that I could see the text, because part of the text is hiding under the frame. Like geometry. Yes. We need a placeholder. Let's say we have a candle. Yes, and a candle needs a placeholder. Pamot. Yeah, placeholder. We say in English, yes, pamot. We need a place. So for this reason, there is a construct called time. Yes, time really do not exist. It's hard for us to accept because we live in this frame called space and time, but for itself, time does not exist. So there's appearance called birth. Disappearance we call death. Therefore, we read in the first verse of Exodus, Ve'ele Shmot, and those are the names of Bnei Israel, Ve'ele Shmot Bnei Israel Hayordim Mitzrayma, which are ascending now towards Egypt, towards space and time. Shem, Shmot, Shem, name, Shmot, names. We have names only when there's a birth. Or in other words, we say a tree, or we can point a finger towards a tree only when there's what? Appearance of a tree. Hey, there's a bird. How we speak to babies? Here, there's a bird. Why? Because there's appearance of a bird and we say, hey, there's a bird. Here, there's a butterfly. Why? Because suddenly appears from nowhere a butterfly. Counting is also telling. Yes, in Hebrew, there is, in other languages as well, there is a relation between counting, lispo, to count, 1, 2, 3, and lesaper, and to tell, or sfira, to illuminate, because while we're telling a story, we illuminate. Things are coming together in such a way, they make a sense. Here is an interesting paragraph that we read in the Zohar a few days ago. There is a verse in the Bible which defines Adam's life. In general, Adam lived 930 years. 900, here's the number. 930 years, Adam. And it says, and he lived 930 years and died. Vayamot. We generally, when we read this verse, English or Hebrew or any other language, yes, we think he lived 930, died, and this is the end. Yes? This is the end of the life. But the Zohar reads this verse differently. The Zohar says the following: he lived, he was present 930 years. Vayamot, and he died, refers to the last 70 years that complete the 930 to 1000. What does it mean that he died? That he lived, his heart was pulsating, but he lived in the knowing. A person who knows, he is considered to be dead. Do we understand this concept? So the Zohar says the following: he lived, he was present, meaning lived in the unknown, 930 years. And when the Bible says Vayamot, and he died, it means that the rest 70 years that complete the 930 to 1000, he lived with knowing. When a person knows something, it is considered to him that he is dead. Yes. Therefore, the Bible says that the 70 years that his heart was still pulsating, but he lived in the notion of knowing something, those 70 years were taken from him because he did not live them. He was basically pulsating, but he was dead. Those 70 years were given to David, King David. King David did not have a life of his own. He received those 70 years as a borrow, as a loan from Adam Rishon. And David, King David, lived only 70 years. Yes, the death, so to speak, of Adam Rishon. Do we understand this concept? Some say tree of knowledge was vine. From vine, yes, gefen, we create yain. Yain, yes, wine. Yain has the value in gematria of 70. Yes, 70. So Adam, wine. Adam drank or ate from the tree of knowledge, and he thought that he knows. And the notion of knowing, it is considered to him to be dead because he is separate. Once we know something, we are being separated from the infinite. So those 70 years were given to David, and King David lived 70 years and no more. And in a way, Adam, and this is what the sages are sharing with us in their books, is that David was a correction or a corrected aspect of Adam Rishon because he lived those 70 years. What does it mean, lived? He did not think that he knows, did he know anything? Therefore, we have in a way evidence in Psalms. And interestingly, when we look at the name David in Hebrew, yes, there's. I'm trying to see because I'll try to expand the window because at the moment I don't have the. 1 second. The window of the chat is very narrow. Okay, I got it. Okay, now I can see the whole text. Yes. Are not all those concepts and people inside? Yes. Yes, all of them. All of those names. Yes. Those are concepts. Yes. Yes. Those are concepts. And living meaning service. This is an excellent definition. What is the meaning of living? Is service. There is no other definition of being alive. There isn't any. The value of the name David in Hebrew is 14, or 1 second, David is 14, like the value of the word yad, hand, but yes, without the ayin, of knowing, without the ayin. Yes, this is the value of David is 14, like Yad, without the ayin. The ayin, basically the 70, this is the years of his life. This is the correction. Yes? What is the sin of the tree of knowledge? I see, therefore I know. I see, I can capture an image in my eyes, therefore I know. This is it. Therefore, if the sense of visual is considered to be a separated sense, the hearing is the opposite one. The hearing is the unified, yes, sense. Hearing, shmi'ah, hearing, as we say, Shema Israel, God is one, hearing. And if we look, or when we look into the structure of a human ear, we see in a way a spiral. Again, the same concept that unites the sense of the separated time that we experience. So hearing unites, yes, and seeing divides. This is very interesting. Also, another aspect, the eyes. Our eyes are being open to the outside. That we have like how to say, not lashes, but how do we call this? Afapayim, I don't know how to say this, in eyelids. Yes, they are being opened out. The eyes are being opened out to the world, to the external, while the ear, in a way, is open to the inner. We might sleep at night or close our eyes, yes, and we go to sleep, but the ears are always open, though we are asleep. Yes, they don't say, look, Israel. Yes, they don't look. No. Yeah. Look is on the separation. The look, the separation. The most common word in the first, this is a very good comment, the first chapter of the Bible, Vayar Elohim and Vayar Elohim and Vayar Elohim ki tov, there is, what is the seeing? What is the seeing? The seeing is about the manifested. And the manifested is one thing, is duality. We cannot speak about the infinite with a term of seeing. You can't. Therefore, the Bible says, "Ve'enei le'ah rakot," yes, and the eyes of Leah are soft, meaning her eyelids are down, are covering her eyes. Yes, because Leah, in the system, she is very close to crown. She is associated with Binah, with the unknown. Therefore, she is being married in secrecy to Jacob. Yes, so unity, God approved, the duality manifested. Excellent. The nomenon congratulated, yes, the phenomenon, that the phenomenon is good. Yes. Yes. Yeah. This is interesting. We think about God, yes, like a magician that sits somewhere, yes, in the sky. But imagine that people they sit, it's Saturday, people sit next to the Mediterranean, it's a bright day, luckily, and suddenly they see a bird, and they say, oh, it's a bird, it's a butterfly. People are, after this cold winter and dark winter in which people could not leave the house, suddenly, oh, there's a butterfly, there's a bird. People feel good because they see in the manifested there's light, there's a bird, there's appearance, and this is good. So who congratulate the manifested? The infinite. God, unity, the source. Where does the language come from? Any language, the ability to speak, the words, where do they come from? Where? From the infinite. So the word exists in the infinite but appears here. This is why the word, in a way, has a dual notion. The word can appear here. When we use the word in space and time, the word appears. Yes, but we borrow words when we speak. The words appear here in space and time, but they also exist beyond space and time. Therefore, saying is creating. Vayomer Elohim, and the whole creation is being done by speaking. Because speech or word is appearance. How the Bible, non-duality, it's in every verse of the Bible. Depends of how do we read the Bible. Yes? The covenant to Abraham. Yes? This is non-duality. It's not so much about the sources, Zohar or the Bible. It's more about who are those who are reading the text. It's not about the text, but who reads the text. It's always about who, not about what. Usually people use the Bible and the Zohar as instruments to beat others, to show superiority, creativity, control. So of course, if this is the how do you say, the opening, this is what they will bring with them. The whole Bible is a creation of non-duality. The proof is in the verses. It starts with Bereshit, with the letter Bet, with duality, and ends, the fifth book of Moses, Devarim, Deuteronomy, ends with the following verse. To our surprise, what do we find in the last verse? The breaking, yes, the breaking of the tablets, the breaking of Luchot HaBrit. Why? Breaking the duality, breaking, negating the two. To the eyes of Israel, eyes are two. And Ramchal Luzzatto says, great you, Moses, that you broke the tablets. Bravo, because there is no two. Bravo. So it begins with two and ends with a negation of the two. This is the Bible. Yes, starts with two, ends with the breaking of the two. This is non-duality par excellence, before the Hindu tradition. Shalom, shalom. It's very simple. But who wants simplicity? Who wants simplicity? No one. Person, not personal. It's not about Ramchal, Rabbi Moshe Chaim Luzzatto. Great soul that lived in Italy, North Italy, in Padua, in the beginning of the 18th century. He was born in 1700 until 740. He died in Israel in a plague pandemic. The Frankfurter, how do you say, the rabbinical community in Frankfurt, Germany, made him write a petition in which he admits that the books that he was writing are not true, and he was also commanded by the community to burn all of his writings. Yes. And even if we did that, and he wrote this letter, and he burned the how to say, the treasure box of his books, it was not enough. He was still hunted by the, so to speak, rabbinical community. And not just in Germany, also he was hunted in all of Europe because he was writing truth. This is it. It's very simple. Yes, authority is not, yes, of being questioned. They turned him, he was offered a job, yes, because he could not be in Italy. They hunted him in Italy, so he had to go to Germany. And then they made him a favor. They turned him to a grammar teacher, yes? This great soul, they turned him into grammar teacher, that he will teach only grammar, Hebrew grammar. Isn't that funny, but also sad? Same thing with Spinoza. Yes, yes. He was hunted. He was persecuted. He was not allowed to be married. Yes. And more than this, he could not be buried. Yes. The people in the city did not allow him to be buried. I think 2 months, his truth is not wanted. Nowhere. No one wants truth. Money? Yes. Billions, zillions of dollars, but not truth. Magical thinking, mystical experience, that's for sure. But not truth. Questions so far? So, to summarize this session, Adam, yes? Of course, of course, of course. This is what Spinoza says. There is no personal God, and there is no individual doers or doer. There aren't any. Just aren't. Look at the system of life. We are 8 billion people. And people here have heart, pulse, and lungs. They're breathing, inhaling, exhaling. It's not a private system. Yes, there is no, we are in a way, we have this childish or egocentric thinking that we think that we are part of a religion, of a family, of a culture. This is a bit childish. Because if someone needs to go to hospital or to a nurse needs to measure a pulse of someone, does it matter if this person lives in Venezuela or in Nepal? This is the same procedure because it's a system. It's a system of life. And this is the claim of David about Goliath, that he is cursing systems of living God. This is the verse. Ki cheraf, he is cursing. Ma'arachot, systems. Elohim Chaim. This is Goliath, and everybody who thinks that he is Goliath or has anything, he is cursing or denying what? Ma'arachot Elohim Chaim, systems of living God. Look at the universe. This is not the invention of I don't know, a rabbi or a priest. This is systems of living God. This is the expression of living God. Everything is systematic. Gravity, the relation between the sun and the moon. Yes? Planets, the Milky Way, solar system. Those are systems. How childish and stupid can people be? Everything is just, this is what happens. Yes, this is just happening. Yes, there is no personal doership, no names. This is what is happening now. Yes. This is a very beautiful, if people are reading Luria. I was preparing for one of the lessons last week, and I found this verse, how Luria reads this verse, which was being said by David. Ki cheraf ma'arachot Elohim Chaim. People are, how do you say, cursing and denying systems of living God. This is living God. This is divinity. Trees, oceans, birds, dolphin, whales. People are walking, breathing, speaking, riding bicycles, drinking coffee, watching landscape, riding bicycles. Those are systems of living God. And even Stalin with his whatever, he killed, I was in a university and I heard it in one of the lunch break from a person who learned for PhD. He says not just European or Jews, so to speak, were killed. Also 60 million Russians were killed in the Second World War, or during the times of the purifications of Stalin. So people are killing millions of people, and what? And so what? And the world, the universe, continues to exist. Those are systems. Yes. Stupidity in Hebrew is heaven's last -1. Yes? This is also in numbers, to those who really seek numbers. Yes? Stupidity is heaven's -1. The world exists. Life exists. And this is what is happening. And no war will put an end to life on earth. Last century, there were horrible 2 world wars. And life continues. We saw pandemic 2 years ago. Maybe part of it still is going on, yes? But you see, life continues in spite of everything, because life is something that exists. Yes, Am Yisrael Chai, yes, yes, yes. More knowledge. We can speak about those senses in relation to it, but this is more to pinpoint knowledge. Yes. But this is not a war. I mean, this is not a meeting of knowledge. This is not a meeting of knowledge. This is a meeting of truth. So, to summarize our session today, Adam lived 930 years. And the Bible said he lived 900 years and 30 and he died. And the Zohar says died is not what we think died and continued the script in our head and buried. The Zohar says died meaning he lived in a notion or a mode of knowing. This is what the Bible considers as dead. Dead is a person who knows. Alive as a person who does not know and is giving service or is available and present. A person who knows is occupied with what he has, and he is not available, he is not present, he's always occupied in those infinite conversations of what he knows or how he interprets reality. So he is not available to what is happening. Therefore, the Bible says he lived 900 years and 30 vayamot, and he died, meaning he was not available, he was occupied. And those 70 years were given to David. He lived only, not like Adam 930, only 70 years, but every moment he was alive. And the proof is Psalms. Thank you so much for your participation today. We wish you Shabbat Shalom and wonderful life. Toda and Shalom. Thank you.